Welcome to the world of science fiction Neon's Alien. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new story from Neon's Alien universe. The stars were quiet. In deep space, far from any patrol, an old human cargo ship floated slowly near a trade route. The ship looked damaged. Black burn marks on its hull, a broken antenna spinning weakly. Its name barely visible on the side. Fury Dawn, no signals came from it. No engines were running. No defense turrets moved. It looked empty, dead, but someone was watching. From behind a drifting asteroid, the pirate ship Bone Rend waited in the shadows. It was sharp, fast, and deadly, built by alien raiders who loved easy kills. Inside the pirate bridge, Captain Graln, a red-scaled, one-eyed Krezak, leaned back in his seat and laughed. "Look at that human junk," he growled. "No weapons, no crew. Looks like dinner to me." His second-in-command, a thin alien named Vesso, nodded. "Shall I send the boarding crew?" Graln grinned. "Send 10. Take anything valuable, fuel, tech bodies if there are any. Leave nothing." 10 pirates in black suits entered the boarding pod and launched toward the Fury Dawn. They landed on the side hatch without a fight. The door was unlocked. "Too easy," one of them said. They moved. Inside, the ship was cold, dark, no lights, no movement, just silence. Flashlights cut through the air. The halls were metal gray, scratched and old. Dust floated like ghosts. Pipes hissed quietly. "No life signs," said one pirate. "No crew," said another. "We should split up," said Vesso. So they did. 2 went to the engine room. 3 moved toward the cargo bay. The rest stayed near the bridge. And that's when things started going wrong. One pirate, Moore, entered a hallway, filled with strange human symbols painted on the walls. "What is this? Some kind of art?" He touched one of the red marks. Suddenly, the floor opened beneath him. He screamed as he fell into darkness. No one heard him again. In the engine room, 2 pirates found it abandoned. Wires were cut, panels torn out. But on one wall, someone had written a message in black oil. "You picked the wrong grave." The younger pirate, Skarn, backed away. "This doesn't feel right." The older one, Kurt, snorted. "Scared of old paint?" Then the door behind them slammed shut. Locks clicked. Lights turned red. Gas hissed from the vents. They screamed. Back on the bridge of Bone Rend, Captain Graln waited. He tapped his claws on the metal table. "Status?" No reply. He tried again. Nothing. Just static. "What's going on in there?" He growled. Then the lights on Fury Dawn turned on. Red bright. In every window, red light shined out like blood. Graln stood up slowly. "That ship. It's not broken." His eyes narrowed. "It's a trap." Back on the Fury Dawn, 2 pirates reached the control room. Empty. No crew. But on the pilot seat lay something strange. A helmet. Old. Cracked. Human design. Vesso picked it up. Inside, a small light blinked. Then a voice echoed through the room. Calm. Cold. "You made a choice. Now face the cost." Suddenly, heavy doors slammed shut behind them. Metal bars locked. Sparks flew from the ceiling. Vesso shouted, "Who's there?" But no answer came. Only the hum of power rising, and the distant scream of another pirate, echoing from the lower decks. Far below, in the hidden lower chamber of Fury Dawn, a man opened his eyes. He sat in a dark control chair, wires running from his arms to the ship. His hair was gray. His eyes cold. His name was Captain Elias Kane. He watched the pirate movements on the screen. Every hallway, every room, every breath. He smiled a little. "Another group of thieves," he whispered. "Another lesson." He pressed a button. The lights dimmed. The traps reset. The voice system activated. All across the ship, speakers crackled, and a voice echoed everywhere. "You shouldn't have come here." Outside, Captain Graln watched in silence. He had raided human ships for 10 years, but this one felt different. Pull them out, he growled, all of them now. But it was too late. Because the Fury Dawn wasn't a ship anymore. It was a death trap, and the pirates had just walked into its mouth. The inside of Fury Dawn felt like a tomb. Cold air moved through the metal halls like a ghost. No alarms, no motion. Just the slow, heavy sound of pirate boots on steel floors. Vesso, second in command of the pirate ship Bone Rend, wiped sweat from his brow, even though the air was freezing. "We split up," he said through the comms. "Find the crew. Find cargo, move fast." The pirate squad broke into small groups. Each team disappeared into the long, dark hallways of the drifting human ship. Team 1, cargo hold. 3 pirates moved past broken crates and shattered panels. "Looks like a fight happened here," one muttered. "Where's the loot?" They found a steel door with scratches all over it, claw marks, burned spots, bloodstains. The youngest one, Jack, leaned close. Maybe something's still inside. Suddenly, the door opened by itself. The room beyond was pitch black. A sweet smell drifted out. Strange, like burnt oil and something else. They stepped in. The door shut behind them. One pirate laughed, nervously. "Autolock?" Jack reached for his flashlight. "My light's out." "Mine too, what the—" A low metallic groan filled the air, then a scream. The light flashed once and Jack saw it, a shadow with glowing eyes above them. Team 2, Engineering Section. Skarn and Kurt, the engineers, were trying to bypass the locked engine bay. "Systems are fried," Skarn said. "Too quiet, like someone wanted this place dead." Kurt pulled open a vent and found a small screen inside. It blinked to life on its own. A video played. Dozens of pirate faces, all different races, screaming, running, dying. Skarn whispered, "What is this?" Then words appeared across the screen. "This is what happens to thieves." Kurt backed away, pale. "This ain't no ship, this is a graveyard." Suddenly, vents hissed. Gas poured into the room. They choked, tried to run. The door slammed shut behind them. Team 3, Command Bridge Vesso. And one guard reached the main bridge, but there were no control panels, just chairs, empty ones, all facing inward. At the center sat a single helmet on a pedestal. It had a crack down the front and dried blood on the chin guard. "Where's the pilot?" the guard asked. Vesso didn't answer. He felt something in the room. Not someone. Something. He stepped forward, touching the helmet. The ship lights turned red. A voice spoke from nowhere. Calm. Cold. "This ship does not forgive." Suddenly the ceiling panels opened. Dozens of sharp metal arms dropped down. Blades, hooks, injectors clicking into place like spiders waiting to strike. The guards screamed and ran back. The door was locked. Vesso stood still, breathing hard. He realized this wasn't a cargo ship. It was made for this elsewhere. Captain Elias Kane watched it all. He sat deep in the hidden core of the ship, surrounded by screens. He spoke into the microphone. His voice carried through every hallway, every speaker. "They boarded. Again. Like the others. Thought they'd take from us, thought no one was watching." He touched the names on a broken dog tag chain wrapped around his wrist. "They thought humans were weak, but they forgot one thing." He smiled, sad and deadly. "Humans adapt and we remember." Back on Bone Rend, Captain Ground paced back and forth. Still no signal from the boarding crew? The comms tech shook her head. "Nothing, sir. All channels are silent." He stared at the glowing red lights coming from the windows of Fury Dawn. "That ship is alive." One of the younger crew whispered. "They say a human ghost lives there, that he built traps, that he feeds the ship with pirates." Graln growled, "Ghosts aren't real," but he didn't sound sure. He turned to his pilot. "Prepare weapons. Fire on that ship." The pilot blinked. "Sir, our cannons are offline." Growlin's eyes went wide. "What?" "Something's jamming. Us," she said. "From inside." Growlin turned back to the window. A blinking red message flashed across their screen. "You're next." Inside, Fury Don Vesso ran through a hallway, alone now. Blood on his suit, cuts on his face. Screams echoed behind him. Doors slammed, lights flashed. He tried to open a maintenance hatch, but a voice spoke again. "You came for fuel. You came for tech. You came for death." Vesso cried out. "What do you want?" The voice whispered, almost gentle. "I want you to remember." And then the floor beneath him gave way. Far above, in the quiet of deep space, the Fury Dawn slowly turned. Its engines lit up. Not fast, not urgent, just enough to drift again, waiting for the next pirate crew foolish enough to come close. The hall was cold and red. Steel walls pulsed with warning lights, and smoke drifted like mist across the metal floor. Somewhere in the shadows, pirates screamed, but their voices were fading. Vesso limped down the corridor, blood dripping from his shoulder. He no longer called for help. He knew no one would answer. Of the 10 pirates who boarded, he was the last. He stopped at a large door at the end of the corridor. It looked different from the others. Clean, untouched. Above it, scratched into the steel by hand, were 4 words. "Sins enter, none leave." He reached for the panel. It opened on its own. The room beyond was a command deck, huge, circular, filled with screens, but most of them were dark. At the center sat a chair. In it sat a man, old, scarred, silent. A wire ran from his neck into the floor. His arms rested calmly on the armrests, but one hand gripped a rusted human dog tag chain. The man didn't look up. Vesso stepped in slowly. He raised his weapon. His voice shook. Who are you?" The man looked at him now. Eyes like frost. Hollow but awake. His voice was quiet. "You're standing on a tomb." Vesso's grip tightened on his blaster. "We thought this was a cargo ship." The man stood. He wasn't big, but something about him was larger than the room. "It was," he said. "Then pirates came, like you. They laughed. They killed my crew, my family." He walked slowly toward Vesso. "I was the only one left, so I turned this ship into what it needed to be." He stopped only a few feet away. "A trap." Vesso's legs felt weak. You did all this?" The man nodded once. "Every door, every weapon, every false hope." He held up the dog tags. "They used to wear these. They believed in peace, in trade, in helping others. You took that." Vesso dropped his weapon. I just followed orders." The man tilted his head. So did they. He stepped back into the light. His name tag was barely visible, covered in scratches. "Captain Elias Kane." Vesso's mouth dropped open. "You're dead? You were reported dead." Kane shook his head. "No, just forgotten, like the rest of them." He turned back toward the screens. "You want to live?" Vesso nodded quickly. "Then tell them," Kane said. "Tell them what happens when they touch a human ship again. Tell them we don't forget." Outside, the ship, the bone rend, hovered nervously. Ground paced the bridge. "Get me that signal again. Where's Vesso?" The comms officer looked pale. "Sir, we just received a signal. One line." Ground grabbed the screen. It read, "One survivor. One warning, you're next." Ground's face twisted with fear. "Get us out of here now!" Back on Fury Dawn, Kane watched Vesso leave through an escape pod. He didn't follow, didn't wave, just returned to his seat and reconnected the cable. The lights around the ship dimmed. The traps reset. The screens flickered off, and Fury Dawn returned to silence, drifting once again, waiting. Weeks later, Vesso stumbled into a pirate base on Zarkon 4. He was thin, shaking, eyes wild. They gave him food, water. Then they asked him, "What happened to your crew?" He whispered, "It wasn't a ship. It was a grave that breathed. And it has a name." He pointed to the stars. "Fury Dawn. Stay away from it. or he'll find you." They laughed at first, but then they saw the burn marks on his hands, the fear in his eyes, the dog tag he carried, not his own. That night, someone carved a warning outside the station gate. "Human ghost ship hunts pirates," and below that, scratched deep into the steel, "His name is Kane." Captain Elias Kane stood alone on the bridge of Fury Dawn. His hand hovered above the main panel, fingers tapping slowly. His voice, calm, flat, echoed softly through the empty ship. "Reset traps. Open new paths. Let them think they have a chance." The red lights dimmed. The air grew colder. And deep in the steel belly of the ship, the walls began to shift. Below, in the maze of corridors, the last surviving pirate from another crew, Rock, moved carefully through the ship. He had seen 2 of his own team burned alive, another crushed by a wall that moved like it had a mind. Now, he was alone. But this time, something was different. The halls were no longer repeating. Doors were opening, lights flickering white, not red. Maybe the ship is breaking," Rock whispered. He stepped through a door. Inside was a small, clean room, a chair, a table, a drink, and a data pad. On the screen, a single message blinked. "Sit. You made it farther than the rest." Rock stared at it, heart pounding. He didn't sit. He walked slowly to the table and grabbed the drink. It was warm. Then the second message flashed. "You're not the first to reach here, but you might be the last." Behind him, the door clicked. Locked. Rock dropped the drink. "No!" Suddenly, the walls turned red again. A speaker crackled. Kane's voice came through, calm, quiet, unforgiving. "You killed an unarmed medic on the freighter called June Light, left the body in the snow." Rock froze. "You remember now?" The wall in front of him lit up, showing footage from years ago, his team laughing, a human begging for help. Gunfire. Silence. Rock fell to his knees. "Please, I didn't mean to." "But you did it anyway," Kane whispered, "and I built this ship for you." Elsewhere in the ship, walls moved silently. Fake hallways slid open to dead ends. One narrow path suddenly tilted, sending a pirate tumbling down a dark chute. He landed hard, in a chamber filled with gas. He didn't even scream. On a nearby wall, the words glowed softly. "Welcome to the memory deck." Fury Dawn was no longer just a ship. It was a machine of justice. Kane had turned it into something the galaxy had never seen before. Every corridor told a story. Every trap had a reason. He didn't kill fast. He made them see. He made them feel the fear, the guilt, the helplessness his crew had felt long ago, and only then did he deliver judgment. In one hallway, lights turned soft. Music began to play. A child's music box tune. A pirate walked toward the sound. He saw photos on the walls. Human, crew members, smiling, eating, laughing. Under each photo, a name and date of death. The pirate began to shake. We didn't know they had families." A video played beside him. Footage from the Fury Dawn's original mission. It showed Kane's crew helping a stranded alien trader. Then, moments later, pirate ships opened fire. The bow, footage cut to black. A line appeared. "You wanted loot. We wanted peace." And then the room filled with cold gas. Slow. Silent. No one screamed anymore. Back on the bridge, Kane closed his eyes. He whispered the names of his fallen crew, one by one. Lieutenant Harris, Ensign Mira, Chief Doru, Pilot Kell, Dr. Yan. He never forgot them. So the pirates never would either. Above, the galaxy was beginning to whisper. More pirate ships had gone missing. Those who returned spoke of a ghost ship, a place where nothing made sense, where your past came back to find you. And the human inside didn't want treasure. He wanted truth and revenge. They called it the Death Trap, but its real name remained simple: Just 2 words painted in old white letters across its broken hull. Fury Dawn. The lights inside Fury Dawn pulsed dimly, like a tired heart still beating. Every hallway was silent now. Every trap had already closed. Every scream had already faded. Except for one. Sarah, the only pirate still breathing, crawled through a narrow maintenance shaft, bleeding from her leg. Her black armor was torn, one eye swollen shut. She had seen her entire crew vanish. Not by lasers, not by guns, but by a ship that remembered. She didn't come for loot anymore. Now, she came for answers. She fell out of the shaft and landed in a small chamber. It was warm, clean, quiet, no lights flashing, no alarms, just a soft hum. Ahead stood a door with no handle, no screen, just a symbol carved by hand. A fire, not a warning, a memory. Sarah stood limping. She touched the metal. The door opened with a sigh, and behind it was the core. A long hallway stretched out before her, glowing faint blue. On either side were windows, hundreds of them. Inside each, frozen moments. Holographic displays looped small clips, a woman laughing while fixing a fuel line. A child running down the ship's hallway with a toy. A crew of humans playing cards. A medic treating a minor cut. A birthday cake being served. Sarah stopped. Each display had a name and a date. Each one ended the same way. Killed during pirate raid. Body unrecovered. Presumed tortured. She moved faster now, pain forgotten. At the very end of the hall, a single door waited. No lock, no security, just silence. Inside was a large, round room. Dark. In the center sat Captain Elias Kane, no longer connected to wires. He looked up slowly. His eyes were hollow, but awake. In front of him sat a small display table. On it, a half-burned photo of his crew. A silver medal. A small notebook labeled, "Why I Remember." Sarah stepped in, hands raised. "I didn't come to fight." Kane didn't move. "No one ever does," he said softly. "Not at first." Sarah looked around the room. "You did all this? Every trap, every kill?" Kane nodded once. "I made this ship into a mirror, one that shows pirates who they really are." She stepped closer. "I'm not like them." He looked up, finally meeting her gaze. "You were there, 10 years ago, Silverlight Colony raid. You were on the 3rd ship." Sarah flinched. I was just a gunner." "You shot down our escape pods." Sarah stepped back. "I was following orders." Kane's voice turned cold. "So were my crew when they tried to run. They followed orders too, orders to live." Sarah's eyes burned. "I was 16. Kane said nothing, just stared. "I didn't understand what we were doing. I didn't even fire on the people. I was told to shoot at comms. I didn't know. Kane finally stood. He picked up the photo of his crew. "I built this ship for monsters, not children." He looked at her again. "But children grow up." Sarah dropped her blaster. "Then let me do something right." She reached into her pack and pulled out a memory stick. "I copied the logs. The truth. What your ship saw. What pirates have done. If I make it out, I'll send it everywhere." Kane stared at her. "Even if they kill you?" She nodded. "Even then." He walked over to her, held out his hand. She gave him the stick. He plugged it into a side console. The ship hummed. Lights brightened. Outside, Fury Dawn systems changed, from red to white. "Then one of us should survive," Kane said quietly. He walked her to an escape pod, one she hadn't seen before. It was small, clean, ready. Sarah stepped inside. Before the door closed, she looked back. "What about you?" Kane smiled faintly. "I am the ship now." The door closed. The pod launched, and the last pirate fled. Not from death, but with truth. Hours later. Sarah's pod was found drifting near a neutral space station. She was pulled in, shaking, crying. "What happened?" a medic asked. She handed them the memory stick. "He's not a ghost," she whispered. "He's a man. And we're the monsters." The pirate ship Scourge Maw was built to scare planets, black blades along its hull, red lights glowing like fresh wounds. 50. Crew, all trained killers. Its captain, Varlek the Skulltaker, was feared across 3 systems. But now he stood on his bridge, staring at the main screen in silence. Floating in front of them was a wrecked ship, a Qatari Raider-class frigate, strong, armored, brutal, now reduced to a metal skeleton. No signals, no crew, just one thing left behind. Burned into the outer hull in large human script, Fury Dawn, and beneath it, "You took from us, now we take from you." Captain Varlek's claws tapped the screen slowly. "Find out what did this." His tech officer turned pale. "Sir, there are no engine signatures, no warp trail, nothing, just pieces." "Any survivors?" "One, the log drone." The drone was pulled on board. Varlek opened the log. The recording played. A group of pirates laughing inside a captured ship, talking about a weak human freighter. "Easy loot," one said. "Old wreck, no guns." Then the video changed. Red lights, screams, figure walking through fire. A voice, cold, human, soft. "You stole light. So I became the dark." And the video ended. The drone self-destructed right after. Back on Fury Dawn, Captain Kane stood in his memory chamber. Dozens of tiny lights floated around him, recording drones. Some went out. New ones lit up. Every time a pirate ship disappeared, he recorded a message, not for money, not for revenge, not for memory. Far across the galaxy, in neutral space, Sarah, once a pirate, now a witness, uploaded Kane's logs. Every trap, every death, every name of every lost crew member. Her message was short. "You called him a ghost. He's not. He's a man, a father, a captain. He turned his ship into a warning. Let his message be clear. You raid a human ship again, and the next scream will be yours." The video went viral, on colonies, on outlaw stations, even on military channels. At first, many laughed. A haunted human ship. Ridiculous. But then came the pattern, the disappearances, the wreckage, the last messages, the repeating name, Fury Dawn, and, suddenly, no one was laughing. In the dark back room of a pirate bar on Asteroid 9, an old raider sipped his drink and whispered to a young recruit. "I saw the Dawn once. Years ago. Thought it was a junker. Passed right by it. Now, I thank every god I didn't duck." The recruit asked, "Why does he let some go?" The old man replied, "To speak, to spread the fear. He doesn't kill for sport, he kills with purpose." "What's his purpose?" The old raider tapped his temple. "To remind us that humans don't just fight wars, they carry pain. And when they carry it long enough, it burns." Back in deep space, Fury Dawn drifted in silence again. Kane sat in the command chair. He looked at the photo of his crew one more time. He whispered their names. Then he pressed a button on his armrest. Another signal left the ship. A message. Short, sharp. It hit pirate channels within hours. Text only. "Tell the galaxy, I'm not lost. I'm watching." Now, even the bravest pirates began to change their routes. Some refused to attack ships with Earth codes. Others wore human flags as protection. A few retired completely, because somewhere out there, in the dark between stars, was a ship with no mercy. Final message from Sarah's voice log. They thought humanity would break when it lost its own. But Kane didn't break, he sharpened. And now the sharpest thing in space was a human soul that refuses to forget. Deep in the Black Sea of space, a merchant convoy passed through Sector 9K, a route once feared for pirate ambushes. But not anymore. Not since the rumors started. Not since ships began vanishing without a trace, except for one name burned into their remains: Fury Dawn. The convoy captain, a veteran named Hollis, watched the radar nervously. His second officer leaned in. "You believe the stories? About the ship that hunts pirates?" Hollis didn't answer. Instead, he told a story. Years ago, a Qatari slaver ship came across a broken human freighter. They docked, laughed, boarded. He paused. They never came back. Across the galaxy in a spaceport bar, a bounty hunter whispered to a smuggler, "They say the ship is empty, just wires and traps." Another man nearby interrupted. "No, there's someone still alive inside, a human captain. He watches and waits." Someone else said, "He doesn't kill for money." A fourth voice added, "He kills for memory." The room fell silent. Then someone whispered, "That's why they call it a death trap. Not because you die fast, but because you die remembering why." Back aboard Fury Dawn, Captain Elias Kane sat alone, eyes closed, as the ship drifted past, a hidden satellite. The satellite blinked once and transmitted a signal: pirate chatter, a new ship, a fast one, fast, but loud. Kane opened his eyes. He moved to the command deck and watched the radar. There it was, a sleek pirate scout ship, hunting near an old Earth trade lane. Its captain had made a name for herself. Young, cocky, fearless. Her name, Dessa Kryn. She was smart. Too young to believe old war ghosts. Her ship, the Black Whisper, caught a signal from an abandoned cargo freighter ahead. Heat signatures low, no defense turrets, no life signs. "Human trash," she said. "Let's crack it open." They docked, they boarded. The lights were dead. In the shadows of Fury Dawn, the trap stayed still. No noise, no motion. Not yet. Because Kane wasn't angry this time. He was watching, letting them walk deeper, letting them explore, letting them feel safe. Dessa's crew laughed, kicked open crates, mocked the ship's old Earth markings. They reached the center. While there, a message was waiting, etched into the wall by hand. "This ship has no treasure." It is the treasure. Suddenly the walls sealed. Lights turned blood red. From every vent, speakers crackled to life. A voice spoke, slow, soft, human. "You're inside now. This ship was built for you." Dessa pulled her blaster. "Who the hell is that?" The voice didn't change. "You hunted the weak. You boarded the helpless." "But I built a ship where the hunters are hunted." And the first scream came from down the hall. One by one, Dessa's crew vanished. Silent doors, crushing pressure plates, false maps that led to nowhere. And all the while, Kane watched, not from rage, but from purpose. Back on Earth, military command centers now tracked Fury Dawn, but never in real time. It moved like a ghost, no transponder, no warp trail, just wreckage in its wake. The humans didn't stop it. They let it float. Because some things were meant to be feared, even by their own. 3 days later, Black Whisper was found drifting, empty, except for one thing. A message etched into the captain's chair. "You thought we were prey, but we were builders, and now we've built your end." Underneath, painted in ash, "Death Trap." On backworld stations, pirates began changing their tune. They avoided Earth ships. Some even flew under fake human banners, hoping he wouldn't come. Others told rookies, "You see an old freighter? If it's human, let it pass. Because if it's that ship, you won't get a second chance." Final scene. In deep space, a small alien child sits on her father's lap, pointing at a glowing ship on the holo screen. "What's that one called?" The father's smile fades. That's not a ship. That's a warning." He holds her tighter. "That's the Fury Dawn. It floats. It hunts. It remembers. Because some ships carry more than cargo. They carry ghosts made of fire and steel, and they don't forget.